Episode 2. After the cross, the Sabbath was still observed. Title: The death of Christ didn't kill the Sabbath. Luke 23:56. And they returned, and prepared spices and ointments, and rested the Sabbath day according to the commandment. The body of Jesus had just been taken down from the cross. The skies had gone dark. The earth had shaken. The Son of God had breathed his last. And even in the grief, the shock, and the sorrow, his followers remembered one thing above all: the Sabbath. Luke 23:56 is one of the most powerful, overlooked texts in the entire New Testament when it comes to the Sabbath. Why? Because it takes place after the crucifixion. Christ had already died. The veil of the temple had been torn. His blood had been shed. Yet what did his followers do? They rested the Sabbath day according to the commandment. Let that sink in. They didn't say, now that Jesus has died, we don't need to keep the Sabbath. They didn't say, let's go anoint the body on Saturday, because the fourth commandment is abolished. No. They prepared the spices before the Sabbath began, and then they rested in obedience to God's law. This verse demolishes the idea that Jesus' death did away with the Sabbath. If that were true, this would have been the perfect moment to show it. But instead, we see obedience, not abandonment. Now, who wrote this book? Luke, the Gentile physician. Not a Jew, not a Pharisee, but a Gentile, writing under inspiration of the Holy Spirit after the resurrection, saying the Sabbath is still according to the commandment. And what commandment is that? The fourth. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. The seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. Exodus 20:8-11. This wasn't a ceremonial law. It wasn't a tradition. It was written by the finger of God on stone. And Jesus didn't come to erase the stone. He came to magnify the law and make it honorable. Isaiah 42:21. Think for a moment. Jesus could have risen from the grave on the Sabbath. He could have broken the seal of death on the very day he called holy, but he didn't. He rested in the tomb on the Sabbath, just as he rested after creation on the seventh day. This wasn't an accident. It was a divine confirmation that the Sabbath was still valid, even in his death. And what happened the next day? Luke 24:1. Now, upon the first day of the week, very early in the morning, they came unto the sepulchre. There is no mention of it being holy, no command, no blessing, no sanctification, just a record of the day. You cannot find a single verse in the New Testament where the first day of the week is called holy. But you can find this verse, Luke 23:56, where, even after Jesus' death, the Sabbath is still kept according to the commandment. This is God's truth. The death of Christ fulfilled the sacrificial system, but it did not erase the 10 Commandments. It ended the ceremonies, but it never changed the Sabbath. And those who truly follow Jesus will honor the day he rested in death, just as he had rested after creation. So, here's the question. If Jesus' closest followers kept the Sabbath after his death, why would you break it after his resurrection? Are you following Jesus or tradition?